I'm here with my son Gerrid today, and he is our Chief Marketing Officer here at Joy Organics. And Gerrid is somebody who has only done digital marketing and SEO his entire career, other than when he was young and living at home and had a little car wash business. And so it's been 18 years now that he has been doing digital marketing, and really more of his specialty, I would say, is in the area of search engine optimization. Certainly you can see all of our rankings at Joy Organics and see how well he has done with our business in a very competitive space. But on this video, I really would like us to focus on maps. And so this video is really is for those of you who have local businesses. You're wanting to make sure that when somebody is typing in CBD and maps or CBD near me, that you're showing up, and ideally at the top of the list. And so, Gerrid, as we get started, maybe just share very briefly what your background has been, and specifically then dive into maps and kind of what your experience has been with maps.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is actually helping law firms rank well in Google. I started the first SEO agency in the legal industry back in 2008. And if you're not familiar with the legal industry from a competitiveness standpoint, personal injury law is considered to be the most competitive small business niche online on the internet from an SEO standpoint. And so I helped law firms, personal injury law firms primarily all across the country, rank in extremely competitive markets. And one of the most effective ways that we were able to grow those law firms was through what we would call map SEO. And that's where your listing shows up in the map results. Generally, there's 3 listings in a map result. Sometimes you'll have an ad in there, so sometimes you'll see 4. There's technically only 3 listings. And those 3 listings can garner really up to about 70 to 80% of the clicks in a local market. So it's really, really important if you're a local business to be in the map listing. Really, there's a couple keys to success that you have to consider if you want to rank in the map results. The first of which is that you actually claim your map listing. And the map listing is called a GMB listing, a Google My Business listing. So you're going to want to claim that listing. And then what you're going to want to do is fill that listing out completely. And there's lots of different things that Google's requesting within that listing. Things like, what are the hours that you're open? What kind of promotions do you have? General information about the business. You want to fill it all out. You want to include images, videos of your place of business if you have those. The more information you can fill out in that Google My Business listing, the better you're going to rank, the more authority and trust you're going to have with Google. Once you have those basics set up for your listing, the next thing you're going to want to do is build out what we call citations. And a citation is a local directory listing. So if you think about like a listing on Yellow Pages or Yelp, you've probably had calls from Yelp or other local directories like that. Each of those listings are a citation. They're essentially a vote in Google's eyes that this is a real legitimate business. And the more votes you have for your listing, the better you're going to rank in the map section. Now, one of my favorite services that I love to promote that does a phenomenal job at creating citations is called Marketers Center. MarketersCenter.com, or you can just Google Marketers Center. They do a really, really good job. Their citations are very affordable, and they can build out hundreds of citations for you very, very quickly. And that's what I actually use at my agency. We just outsource that work. They do it for like $1, $2 a piece. It's really affordable, and that was pretty much the fastest way to get a good map listing going.
And so just as a clarification to make sure everybody knows, you could be on your laptop and type in CBD gummies, and wherever you're located geographically, you're going to see maybe some organic rankings that might be outside your area, but the 3 you're referring to are the ones that you see right there on that page. So if you type in CBD gummies and you live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, you're going to see 3 listings, and then you can click on more, and then it provides more. So you want to be in those first 3 because obviously a lot of people aren't going to click on more, right?
That's exactly right. Those are the listings you want to get ranked in.
And then is this also apply to, like on my iPhone, in the maps in the upper right corner, if I type in, if I'm in a town and I want to find a Mexican restaurant, I type in Mexican and it comes up Mexican restaurants near me. Is this also applies to the same thing, or is that different?
That's actually a little bit different. So that still falls under the umbrella of map optimization or map SEO. But Apple's actually pulling from a couple different sources. And that's why you're gonna want to make sure that you get your, that same, again, it's not a GMB listing, but it's a Bing map listing. You're gonna wanna get your Bing map listing claimed as well, because Apple is pulling from Bing and they're pulling from Yelp. So you also wanna make sure that your Yelp listing is claimed. And if you optimize those and make sure they're claimed, and again, you don't have to build citations specifically for those sources, but as long as you fill those out completely, you should be able to rank pretty well.
And so, obviously a lot of the people watching this might be a little overwhelmed in listening to this. Like, I don't know what any of this is.
Yeah.
Is this something that people can do themselves? And if so, what would your recommendation be for that?
Yeah, I mean, the best place to start these days, and this is where I go personally, anytime I want to learn something new, I go to YouTube. There are so many phenomenal experts that are on YouTube that are providing free information. And if you just do a search for Google Map SEO or Map SEO, anything of that nature, you're gonna find some phenomenal information out there. If you do wanna outsource this, probably one of my favorite resources is a company called Web20 Ranker. Web20 Ranker, and we could probably link that up in the show notes below. But they are a really, really great service that offers map optimization for small businesses.
And give us an idea, what do they charge?
Yeah, so I'm using them right now for a project, and it's like $500 a month. You only need to do it for a couple months, because once that listing is optimized, unless you're in like Chicago or LA or something super competitive, you should be able to maintain your rankings without a problem.
So let's assume somebody is ranked number 3.
Yep.
And they want to rank number 1. What is the difference between number 1 and number 3?
Yeah, I would say one of the big differences is going to be reviews. And when I say reviews, it's both the total quantity of reviews, but it's also how often you're getting reviews. So if you go out for your business and you get 20 reviews tomorrow, but for the next 6 months, you don't get any, you kind of get dinged a little bit. So what I would say is go to your friends and family members, say, hey, kind of spread it out, go to, maybe 2 people a week, be like, hey, would you mind leaving a review? And then over the course of a couple months, you've garnered 10, 15, 20 reviews. That would be a huge factor that I would say would bump it up. The other thing that you will want to look at is your organic listing. So your organic listing in Google, which is below those map rankings. So again, you have the ads at the top, then you have your map listings, 3 or 4 there, and then you have your organic rankings. And Google does tie your organic rankings to your map listing. Now, it's not like 100% match, but they are going to look at the authoritativeness of your organic listing. And again, if you want to go back to YouTube and kind of get some basic stuff in place, making sure your title tags, your web page copy is optimized, some basic stuff like that, that'll also bump up your map listing.
And obviously, they could, through the videos they're watching on YouTube, learn more little insights into how to get ranked. But again, one of the things that is so important for you as a small business owner is to get ranked. I mean, it is a huge part of the success of any business. And whether somebody types in CBD gummies or CBD soft gels or CBD tinctures, CBD dog chews, you want to be ranking for all of those. So Gerrid, let's assume that somebody is ranking for maybe CBD gummies and CBD tinctures, but they're not ranking for CBD soft gels or CBD salves or CBD creams. What can they do to get ranked for ones that they're not ranking for?
Yeah, so the first thing I would make sure is that you actually have a page on your website targeting that term. So make sure you're actually selling soft gels, or whatever the keyword phrase may be that you're not currently ranking for. Within the map section, there's a description that you can fill out for your company, and you want to make sure CBD soft gels, CBD gummies are all referenced in that description, because that will help you within the maps. But the number one thing is, I would say, make sure you have a page on your site. Even if you don't have the keyword in your description, just that page on your website, Google will actually reference that in your map listing. They'll say, within your map listing, this website references CBD soft gels. So if you do have a page and you're not ranking and you have the keyword phrase in your description tag, what you're gonna wanna do is get a couple of links going into that CBD soft gel page on your website, because ultimately Google's not ranking that page because they don't trust you. And again, kind of the first step, the foundation step for any website, any local business, is to get those citations I talked about from Marketer Center. But Marketer Center also has a couple other different types of link packages. One of my favorite of which is a Google entity or a Google stack link package. And you could purchase that from them. I would have it direct right to that page that's not ranking all that well. And in most local markets, that would be enough to push it over the edge.
And when you talk about linking, get some links into it,
Yep.
this is where they would have perhaps some articles written on other websites that reference their business, and in that article, there'll be a link to that site.
Exactly, and the beautiful thing about Google Entity Stacks, or the Google Stack linking, is that these are all websites that Google owns. These are sites like Google Docs, YouTube. And so articles are going up on these sites that we know Google already trusts. And when they link over to your site, it's essentially like getting a link from Google. So highly, highly trusted, and that's why they tend to rank well.
And so, I know that for our Fort Collins store, we were, obviously ranked number one. But a big part of that, like you said, was our reviews. We had a lot of reviews. What are the suggestions that you might give a local owner to get more reviews and more consistent?
The number one thing that you can do is just ask. And actually, a perfect example, yesterday I was out at lunch. It was one of a local restaurant that I go to on a regular basis. And the hostess, who I know very well, came up to me and she said, "Hey, this server that's here, he's a super nice guy, but he hasn't had any Google reviews yet." And they get bonuses and they get certain things when they get reviews. And she said, "He's actually getting a little discouraged right now. Would you be willing to go in and leave him a review on Google?" I said, "Absolutely." And the only reason I did that was because she asked. I had a relationship. We talk here and there when I go in and visit this particular restaurant. And because she asked, I was more than happy to oblige. And so the biggest thing is, if you just ask, most people are more than willing to do it. And especially if you have repeat customers that come in a couple times, "Hey, John, thanks so much for purchasing again. One of the things that really helps this business is Google reviews. Would you mind leaving one? I can even send you a link right now and just text it to them." We found that to be hugely successful for us.
And you're referring specifically to Google reviews, because obviously there's a lot of places people can leave reviews, but these are ones where people will go and type in your company name in Google, and there's the ability to see reviews, and then there's a button that says write a review, and so that's where these reviews need to be.
Yes.
And these are only reviews that work if you have a retail location. So if you're an online business only, you don't have anything where people can leave Google reviews, and then you depend upon all the other reviews.
That's exactly right.
And what about, for example, reviews on Yelp or other places? Is that going to play much of a role? Is it primarily Google reviews?
It's primarily Google. Google does look at reviews on other sites as, again, kind of a trust factor. But the challenge with most small businesses is they're probably only going to get 15, 20, 30 reviews total. And so you kind of got to figure out, where do I want to spread these out to? How do I want to diversify them? I would personally, if I knew I was only going to get about 30 reviews, I'd get probably 20 of them on Google, and then I'd get the rest on probably Yelp and Bing. But most of the authority really needs to go to Google these days.
And one of the biggest factors that is also going to influence your reviews is your service. I mean, we know our products are great. You could look at our website. We've got thousands of reviews, all over 4-star. So it's not that the product is on trial, but your business is on trial. And for our business in Fort Collins, when we had the store, and we have since closed that just because we wanted to focus our time on a national level rather than just a Fort Collins store. But we had, I want to say close to 300 reviews, like a 4.8 star rating. And for me, if I'm looking at restaurants, I don't even consider a restaurant less than 4 stars. I mean, if it's less than 4 stars, it's like, nope, I'm not going to that restaurant. And so for you, getting good reviews not only is going to influence your rankings, but it's also going to influence the people who look at those rankings and whether they choose to do business with you or go to your competitors. So, making sure that you're open when you say you're going to be open. I see a lot of negative reviews out there. I got there at 10 o'clock in the morning and they were closed.
Right.
And so make sure that you're open during the hours you say you're going to be open. That is super frustrating to people. Make sure that your people behind the counter have a great attitude and are smiling and doing the basic things to be likable and present a positive image of your brand, because again, all this is going to play a role in your reviews. Yeah. Anything more that you want to add on this topic?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up our local listing there in Fort Collins, because when we had that going, more than 50% of those almost 300, I think we were like 280, 290, reviews, more than 50% of those reviews were actually commenting on our service, not on the products. And here's one more little tidbit. So we got a review, I think it was 2 days ago, I published it in our little company Slack channel. The person left a review for a product, 5 stars. The product for whatever reason didn't work for them. They gave us 5 stars because the customer service was so phenomenal. They called in, they talked to Will, they said, this person was amazing. They got me the product that is actually going to be able to help me, and I'm leaving this review because it was such a phenomenal experience. That's the kind of experience you want to give to your customers. That's the kind of experience that's going to give you 5-star reviews, whether it's your website, Google, Bing, Yahoo.
Yeah, that's very important, because again, even on your website, if you have a website that shows reviews, and we're going to talk about conversion rate optimization here soon, and reviews play a huge role in that. And if you've got great reviews, it's going to influence people buying from you, who are shopping on your site, in addition to people who are shopping for a local business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully this helps you at least plant some seeds, so to speak, so that you can do some further research on your own and decide if this is something you want to tackle yourself, or if you want to outsource it. And if you do, then obviously Gerrid has given you a great resource to do that. So be sure to watch the other videos that we're going to be recording here with Gerrid, so you can learn some other insights that will help you be more successful marketing your business. And those links will be below this video.